Hello, today I'm going to talk about the North Node in Libra. Until 23 degree Libra, you would have also Rahu in Virgo. So North Node in Libra, or also North Node in 7th house, and the South Node in Aries. And like I say, I will also talk about the South Node in Pisces here, because you have both. Most of you have both. So let's talk about Libra first. Libra, as most of us probably know, is ruled by Venus. It rules one-on-one relationships, in particular marriage. It rules the ability to make compromises, to form relationships, equal relationships, basically. To meet people on equal footing. That's Libra, being diplomatic. Now you have the South Node in Aries. You come into this world with the Aries South Node. You're very self-confident. You're very self-assertive. You're the kind of person who will go out there. You're very independent. Many people who are born with this combination, the people that I have met, most of them didn't have siblings. They were the only child, for example. Or the person has to take care of themselves at a very early age. Some people start working at a very early age with this combination, and they earn their own money. They're very independent. Aries rules independence. Aries rules also being very spontaneous. It's a very authentic sign. Aries can be very authentic. You say what you think. You say what you feel. Aries does not feel like they have to hide or anything. So you come into this world with a strong Mars energy. And in one book that I read, it even said people with this Mars South Node, when you come into this world, you're the silver cord that connects us to the universe. For you, it's actually stronger. That's why you have lots of physical energy in your youth, in particular. But you're also very selfish, So it's a combination of your past incarnations that you experience now in your younger years. Some people with this combination might join the military, at age 16, also usually early. Mars also rules youth. But now they're here in this life, in the second part of their life, after age 35, the latest. They're here to learn these Libra qualities, the quality of romantic relationships, of one-on-one relationships. It's not only romantic, but it's particularly, it's the 1st and 7th house, so it's two people. And these people will have chances. They will definitely have chances for marriage, for relationships. Unless they get stuck in the Aries South Node, of course. But actually, you will have chances. That's a difference. There's a difference. That's exactly what this nodal axis is about. What kind of things come to you? What kind of goodies does the universe throw you? Like lead you to. And with this Libra North Node, regardless of how attractive the person is, they will be able to attract partners to them. They'll be the other gender or the same gender will be interested in them in a romantic way. They will have chances to form close relationships with people in this lifetime. And the challenge here, because they're supposed to learn that. They're supposed to. This is a classic combination of a person who is here to learn compromises, to learn getting along with others, to learn being diplomatic, and not always rest in their ego, in their strong, independent self. So these are the kind of people you should tell, don't be a selfish, It's a general thing that society tells, whatever, especially children, don't be as selfish, don't be so egotistical. But this is the classic combination here where it really applies. These people really need to learn compromising, and they will have the chance to do that. Very often they also have the chance to be the hero in early years, which makes them even more confident, you know. Sometimes Mars, like I say, Mars can create very strong physical energy, having the energy to work hard, and also already early in life, these people are usually, depending on, it might start sooner or later, they're definitely called to make sacrifices. So they'll be pushed into this direction, into this mode where you have no other choice than to make sacrifices and to pull back your ego needs, With this combination, for you want to fulfill your own needs before fulfilling your partner's needs, and now you're here to learn not to do that. And that can take on many different shapes, by the way. We don't know what kind of partner you attract with this nodal axis. All we know is you do attract partners, okay? It can be a nice person, it can be a very friendly, loving partner. It can, with Libra North Node, it will be either a very attractive, a very beautiful looking partner, but it can also be somebody who has the fierce Aries energy, So it can also be a partner who is also very aggressive. We don't know what kind of. We have to look at the seventh house. What partners you attract. You have to look at the seventh house here, actually. Anyhow, so your life will lead you into this direction of eventually possibly getting married, or having a close relationship. Most likely there will be a divorce at some point in your life with this, and you have another chance. Like, even if you get a divorce, you will have another chance for a second or even third marriage with this one, because you're here to learn that. It might not work the first time. And especially in younger years, there's times, depending on other factors, the Aries could be a person who is sexually very active in younger years, but not very interested in a stable relationship, because it's the Mars energy, or relationships are very short, they're very independent. They don't easily, in younger years, they don't easily get attached. They have a strong sense of self. That's also why they attract partners so easily to them, Okay, so that's to be said about South Node in Aries and North Node in Libra. Sometimes there's also, later on in life, there's an interest in politics, because Libra rules politics, So most likely the person, this is the kind of person who, once they get older, they will have some kind of partner around them. This is not like a lonely combination, In younger years, yes. But they don't have a problem with it, They might be very adventurous, they might travel the world or whatever, they might, like I say, join the military, stuff like that, or be in sports, and then later in life they will have this chance to settle down, to be in a stable partnership, and also to learn partnerships with others. Sometimes being the mediator, they have to learn to take sides, to be in the middle, or not to take sides, but to mediate between people. All these Libra qualities need to be learned and embraced here. Now let's talk about the Vedic aspect of this, which is Rahu in Virgo and Ketu in Pisces here, if your North Node is up to 23 degrees in Libra. if it's past 23 degrees Libra, your Dharma is very focused on this Libra Aries axis. So you don't have this Virgo aspect and Pisces. You don't really have that, So it's very focused specifically on this partnership, ego versus I versus you, or I versus we, creating these partnerships. Of course, you have to look at the houses. The house will show you in which area these partnerships happen, also in which area you might meet your spouse. If you have the 10th house, Libra in 10th house, you might actually start a business with your partner, something like that. You might have, you might meet the partner at work or something. Libra North Node in the 9th house, your partner will be a foreigner. Your partner will most likely be a foreigner or somebody of a different cultural or religious background. With you have to look through the houses. 8th house is can be very sexual, there can be power plays, So of course the person is also, with this Libra Aries, there's also power plays, is very possible, You might attract partners that engage in power games and stuff like that, for you to learn the more diplomatic Libra combination. Especially if there is a problem with physical violence, the person, of course, they're called to give up that. They cannot be physically violent, because with Aries there's a possibility in younger years they might get into a couple of fights here. But then those people who have let's get back to the Vedic astrology. Hold on. Now you have a Ketu in Pisces, in addition to having the South Node in Aries. Now you may think at first, oh, these are so different. These are completely different energies. And to some degree, obviously they are. Mars is not the same as Neptune or Jupiter. Jupiter rules Pisces in Vedic astrology. And one thing they both have in common is it's both are very self-centered. Pisces, so Aries is very self-centered, but the energy is outward. It's directed outwardly. Aries is very spontaneous. It will approach people very spontaneously. The ego is expressed towards the outside. Now you have Pisces, where the ego expression goes inside. The Pisces perception is guided towards the inside. That's why Pisces is not a very worldly sign here. But that's also the reason that Pisces or Neptune energy can be can also be very self-centered, and it goes towards the inside here. So Pisces needs time alone to be lost in their thoughts, right? Pisces has to dream. So you have this combination. Here you have, it can be quite interesting, because the person with the Aries South Node now also has this Pisces touch, So it's actually it's quite a narcissistic combination, to be honest. You have a person who is outgoing, who has this Aries quality, but at the same time they can also be left alone. They're not the extrovert who always needs to be around other people, so to speak, which makes them even more independent and maybe interesting, So they can be alone because they also need this time to, they need time to reflect. With Pisces, the person might have a hobby. They might just watch television alone. They might really enjoy watching television alone, films or whatever. Pisces also rules films. There might also be, in younger years, the person might have an interest either in music or writing, poetry. All of these are Pisces-related arts. So there's often interest in art. Aries can be very artistic because it's about self-expression. Sometimes Aries is more sporty, obviously, it's more physical. But with this Pisces combination, the people I've met, everybody was like writing something, either poetry or they have their own diary. They keep a diary in their younger years. It's a combination of both of these. And Pisces is also very sensitive here, and can be oversensitive about their own ego, so to speak. So now you have Rahu in the Vedic chart in Virgo, right? You have your North Node in Libra, and you have Rahu in Virgo. So another part of your Dharma, what you're here to learn, consists of communication with others. Virgo is very communicative, but Virgo is also dutiful, right? The Pisces wants to retrieve. The Pisces maybe wants to even get drunk and not talk to the partner or something like that. There could also be alcoholism with Pisces here. Now the Virgo Rahu here, in addition to the North Node in Libra, part of your lessons consists of developing structured and reasonable communication with the partner. And well, that's exactly it. You have to be able to communicate with the partner, and it has to be structured. The communication. You have to be able to talk about problems with the Virgo. You have to be able to talk about day-to-day life. Your planning of the day, and all. So that's all part of your Dharma. Having conversations about how are we going to raise our children. So all this rational, day-to-day communication needs to be learned as well. In your youth, you might be used to being alone and not having to do that, or later in life, you're just called to have more down-to-earth conversations, and also to structure your life more. With the Virgo North Node or Virgo Rahu later in life, you might have to go on a diet. You might have to follow a strict diet. There could also be health issues with the Virgo Pisces. In some cases, one scenario that you can have, because when the person gets older, they're not supposed to be alone anymore. So I've seen that a couple times now with North Node in 7th house or Libra. The person is kind of forced to stay with their partner. They might want to be alone, but now they get ill, And so with Virgo, the person is called to be concerned about their health, by being, by having regular activities, by getting up at the same time every morning. They will probably have certain duties. It might be their job a bit later. Once you're in your 40s, suddenly you get a job, like a 9-to-5 job that's very irregular. You could also, with Virgo, you can also be an employee your entire life. You can be in some kind of service. You can literally be the military service, hospitals, or whatnot. But you'll be you're called to make sacrifices in your job as well. And with Virgo, there's lots of communication involved, including emails, telephone, maybe even counseling. This could be a combination for somebody who becomes a counselor later in life. Because Libra, the one-on-one relationship, is also sometimes it goes into counseling, if there's an interest in psychology, which there often is, depending on other factors, of course. But here the person is really called to move out of their dreamy, selfish state, where they are in their own world, and they might believe, I don't even need very much, I'm fine on my own, leave me alone. But they can't. This is not the person. I mean, if you're older with this and you do live as a hermit, some people do. There are some people who really do get stuck in their South Node with this, and some people might do well, because you are an independent person. But even if you remain single with this, you will still have friendships. You might have very close friendships with this. It's not Libra. It's not only romantic relationships, of course, or marriage, but it's one-on-one relationships. And the person is here to learn that. The person is here to make compromises and to be responsible. To be a responsible partner. And let go of wanting to be exciting and glamorous or whatever. Whoever you're with will appreciate your reliability. With Virgo, Rahu, you also have it in you to be very rational, very reasonable. You even all the North Node things will be overdone at times. It comes in spurts, so to speak. So you go through these phases where you're like totally organized and all that, and very structured, and then you fall back into the Pisces. So that can take on many shapes. You might have this strict regimen, sports, yoga, or whatever, and you follow a diet, and then all of a sudden it's all overboard, right? Suddenly you reverse back into the Pisces energy. Another thing with the Aries South Node, because the South Node represents your youth, and the South Node also represents an area of life where things. It's a similar like Neptune. Things kind of disintegrate. Things turn foul here. So here it can be very physical. The person has to be careful with their health. And that can stem from this feeling they're young. In their youth they were so strong, like they felt like unbeatable, and they might be very careless with their health. They might drink or eat too much or whatnot. So they might often fall back into the Pisces Aries mode. Later on in life they'll be more falling back into the Pisces because physically they will become weaker. If they're not careful, they can become physically quite weak later in life because they took it for granted. There's a sense they take it for granted that they're very strong. But later in life there can be physical problems. Hence the Virgo Rahu here. It's very necessary for these people to follow some nutritional diet and take care of their diet, and of their physique, of their health. But not overdo it, of course. So much to be said about this axis. You might think, oh, that's very fortunate if a person has the chance to meet potential partners and stuff. It depends from which perspective you look at it. If you have the reverse axis, you might easily get jealous of these people. But for them, if you have this, it's not easy. It's not so easy being in a committed relationship. It's something that you want, but it's over time. The challenge is it's a big challenge here. It's an axis full of tension, and you always revert. You always easily revert. In this axis, it's more easy to revert into the Mars, because it's so innate. The Mars ego energy. That's such an innate thing, and it's probably gotten you it brought you a lot of success early in life. You're used to getting what you want, but I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments section what you think, if this applies to you, and bless you.